Hey, let's lethal people. So, you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm very tired. I've been doing these 12-hour overnight shifts, going on 2 hours sleep, and there's got to do another couple of nights of them in a row. So, I'm pepping up with some coffee here. Okay, now, this video might be long. It might be a little offensive to certain people. Some may like what I have to say, some may not. You know my take on that. I don't make any money from any products. I only endorse and promote products I think, in my opinion, for certain reasons are very good, and certain ones I don't endorse because I don't think they're very, or there's something about the company that I'm not a fan of, or I've had an experience. These are opinions. They're based on my testing, my feelings, my stuff. That being said, some guy in one of our subscribers, I think it's Joe Solo, reached out to me, and I thought it was interesting. He asked me, how do I feel about this split in the less lethal community, those being pro-American and those not being. Don't see us. I think everybody in this community has been pro-American. And I think for the most part, we're pretty much all on the same wavelength and mentality with stuff. However, we're allowed to differ with certain things. And then he went on to ask me, do I support child labor in China because I'm buying Chinese products made in Taiwan? And I thought this was the most asinine thing in the world. So I'm going to touch on a lot of stuff here. First of all, every single one of us in this community and outside the community, I understand we all want to be patriotic. But there's a lot to be said here. And some of it is for American companies too. And it might not be so nice what I'm going to say. And some of it is for foreign companies, which might be nice what I'm going to say. So, first off, those of you that are saying, I'm only going to stick with one particular marker because it's made in America, and I'm not going to get another marker because it's not, well, then you probably shouldn't be buying CO2 because that's probably not made here in America. You probably should take the shoes and sneakers off your feet because some little kid in China is probably sewing them all day in a sweatshop. So you probably should go around barefoot. I probably shouldn't be using this cell phone to videotape this, and you probably shouldn't be watching me on your cell phone or your computer because it wasn't made in America. Half the lumber that your house is made of and sheetrock wasn't made in America, because we all know China is the leading place for drywall and lumber as well. That's why the lumber is so crappy today, because they grow it so fast and it's much lighter than years before. I can go on and on and on. So if you think you're going to change the world by buying an American launcher versus a import launcher, that's absurd. Next, before the American company even came out, or while they were out and they were expensive, you were buying Umarex, you were buying other ones, Vulcan, Titman, other ones. They're made overseas, they're made in Asia, probably by a little kid named Pang putting them together every day. That's just it. We have a government that is part of the problem. If you want to change things, you need to go out there and not only vote for a new president, you need to vote for Senate. You can't just wait till a presidential election and say, hey, this president is going to change everything. Every election counts. You have senators, you have Congress people. You got to vote for these people because they make big differences too. It's not just a president that does it. So, guys, you got to start thinking on a deeper level here. Now I'm going to go into some American companies and stuff. And I'm going to say this. Yes, it's great to support them. Yes, it's great to give them that push and that drive because we do want them to succeed. Okay? I make little detents for people when they need them. What do I make them out of? I make them out of filament that was made in China on a 3D printer that was made in China. But the little detent was made here in the United States by me. One hand washes the other here, guys. Okay? That's just, you could agree with me or disagree with me. So to get so nitpicky and say, well, you support it, whether you think it or not, you're supporting it too. We all technically are if we're buying stuff that comes from overseas. And a good portion of, I'd say the majority of everything comes from overseas, or the stuff we need to make the things that come from overseas. Now, some of these overseas companies, though, are doing a better job than American companies. I don't have a Grimberg gavel. And the reason I don't have a Grimberg gavel is not because I'm anti-American, not because I'm anti-Grimberg. I think he has a great idea. I think he might have a good product. I know I purchased from him, I use Joule V3s, and you guys all know that. I think the Joule V3 is by far the best projectile for me that I've used so far, especially in these markers. Why? And why are we getting higher numbers on these markers than the company said? Because using a Joule V3, it's a better bore match, just coincidentally, for these larger barrels, these wider barrels. Okay, they're using these 4.6, I don't know, other company projectiles that are probably a little bit smaller, so they're getting a little less numbers. But when you put a Joule V3 in here and it bore matches up to here, you're getting outstanding numbers. They are good rounds. I buy them. I just ordered some the other day and they came. I'm very happy with them. What I am not happy with is, and I mentioned it in a thing, a year ago, more than about a year and a half ago, I ordered a barrel for my FSC. And I don't put down East Coast Leslie. I put my generic name so nobody knows who I am. I got the barrel. I used it maybe 5-6 times. They have these they look like little tiny Hershey Kiss detents that go in there. They're rubber. It tore out with the high joules or whatever. I contacted them. I ordered some Joule V2s at that time because they weren't making the Joule V3s. I asked them to send me a replaceable detent. I was told, okay. We went back and forth on Messenger. The Joule V2s came, no detents. Contacted them again. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't sell detents. So now I have a barrel that's useless as tits on a nun because I don't have detents for it. And I can't get those little detents. Granted, I could start making detents now on the 3D printer for that. So that turned me off a little. But with the Joule V3s, I haven't had any problem. Do I like the gavel idea? Yes, I think I like it. I like the conceal carry aspect of it. I hear it's great quality. There are two things that don't fit my needs with the gavel. And you guys can criticize, but I have a certain amount of training. Not better than anybody out there. I'm just explaining to you. Regardless of what marker it is, if it has a twist down here like the gavel, I need 2 hands to do that. When I have 2 hands occupied, I can be getting punched in the face, stabbed in the gut, pummeled with an axe handle or a 2x4. I don't need to keep 2 hands occupied. With anything with a punch button, I can whack it on a surface. I can whack it on the other person's head while using my other hand. So that is the reason probably the major reason I have not purchased a gavel yet. I'm waiting till the Solstice comes out. And yes, if the Solstice has a punch button, I will probably, or some type of trigger pull to prime it, I will most likely get one at that time. So that is my gripe with the product. I'm not saying it's a bad product. I'm just saying it doesn't fit my need for self-defense. Same thing, if I carry a real firearm, I always carry with one in the chamber because I'm not going to take two hands and several seconds to rack the slide and get something in the chamber when I may be using this hand to get somebody off of me and I have to pull out and use it for defense. I don't believe in that. At least with this, I can whack it on something. I can whack it on the person. I can whack it on my hip. We've all seen that. So that's why I prefer the puncture button at the bottom as opposed to a twist. The other thing, which I don't know because I don't have experience with it yet, I like something with a removable barrel. This way, if I have to get in there and clean, I can, and I can take the barrel out and whatnot. That might not be a big deal though. I don't really know too much the mechanics and the workings of it, but it does look like a very good quality launcher. Now I will get on to my other rant about American companies and non-American companies. I have people here that have been preaching, I want to support the American company. I want to support the American company. What I'm having an issue is, I'm going to use Mercury Rise for an example. Mercury Rise, even without the Intrabuster, the company may be an American company, I'm not sure, but it's here in the United States. Their products are brought over from overseas, right? Their products are made in China, wherever. I think they really want to support the American people, okay? TAC Family has a thing you can put on there and get a discount code from them to help people out. LLC 24/7, he has a discount code you can put on there and get something off on it. They have another thing for first responders, law enforcement, military. You get something off where this was $349, not $399. That's giving back to the American people. That's saying thank you for supporting us. We're going to give you a discount. That's saying thank you for your service. We're giving you a discount. I don't find an American company that charges $499 for something and then automatically bumps it up to $550 and offering no discount code. I don't know. Same thing with the other company out there. The company that I feel this marker burns. Okay? The reason why their price is the way it is because the LE model, they know law enforcement agencies have money. They're going to buy them in droves. And they target people. Oh my God, I'm going to get the LE model, the law enforcement. That's the one all the agencies are using all over the place. And they know an agency has millions of dollars to spend out and buy hundreds of them for their department. And they're not lowering them. So please don't be sheeple and understand there are some foreign companies out there that are trying to get our business and want to do good for us. And they will give us discounts and stuff. And they want our support. And there are other companies here in this country that is so greedy, like everything else in the United States. Greed, greed, greed. More. I could get $50 more for this. I could get $40 more for this. I understand you have to put more work into it. I understand maybe you up the O-rings on it. You upped, it could take a bigger CO2 car. I understand you did something to it. But there should still be some form of a thank you. You go on all these holster websites, almost every holster company out there for real firearms has some sort of a promo code for a first responder or somebody that did something for this country and gave something or gives something for this country. Most of them do. And if you're coming into this new thing or this less lethal and you want to promote this, you have to also show some incentive as well. That's just how I feel. This is my opinion. Will I continue to buy from? Yeah, I like his Jewel V3s. I think they're a great product. And I really think if the Solstice comes out and it has that, I would go for it. But what I don't like is when people start ragging on other companies. Oh, they're made overseas. They're made in China. They're a cheap knocker. They're. Listen, $350, $549. $350, 50 joules, $479, 20 joules on the first shot, 14 and 10 on all the rest. I don't know. I'm going to take the gamble and go for the person who wants me to take a chance on them and say their product is good. And that's what we're doing. We're testing it. We're seeing if it is good, if it holds up. Guys, Alternate Arms Defense out there, he did the homework. If you don't know the difference between this and the Pistol X, just watch his channel. There is no difference. It was just a mistake. There was only 100 of these made. And I know this for a fact too, because I spoke to Defense Innovations a while ago and they said they only had the paintball version of it. That means a few were sent here for testing. Now, NX Works or whatever the company is they have full exclusive rights to it. I get the warranty issue. That's a whole other story. But it's the same marker. It's not made in Europe now, the new one. It's still made in Taiwan. It's made in the same place. It's just branded one certain way because somebody has exclusive rights to it. And knowing that, even if it was made in Europe and not in China, it's still made overseas then. So you can give it a chance. Look at Home Defense 24, okay? I did have a problem with a barrel from my FSC in the D10s, or my TCP rather, same thing. I got stuff from Home Defense 24. I have never gotten a bad product. I have never gotten a product that broke or wasn't of extreme quality. And I have never, ever, ever had an issue with them or shipping on top of everything, communication, not waiting 3-4 days for somebody to get back to me or them saying, hey, I'm going to send it to you and they don't send it. And if they didn't send something, I got twice as much in my next order and some gummy bears for fun too. So guys, start thinking and start using your brain. There's a lot of greed in this country. And I'm not saying all these companies are, but it's okay to give back to people too and be grateful for what you have and grateful that you have supporters. And it's okay to try other things. And there are other stuff that is being made in other countries that are really good, really affordable, and I have no problem buying it. And I'm not going to be a hypocrite because I need shoes to walk around on. I need tires for my car and my bike and they're not made here. That's just the way it goes. You want to change that stuff? It's not stop buying everything because we don't have even the resources to make things now. Our government we had a government that gave billions, I think it's like something like $42 billion, $46 billion or more to Ukraine. You're worried about, I'm supporting by buying Pistol X 88 or Intrabuster, I'm supporting the Chinese army. You had a guy in office, him and his son were doing more than supporting the Chinese army. And you're worried about the Pistol X 88? Maybe it'll make us feel better if we buy something made in Taiwan, if we get a letter sent to us every week from a little guy named Pang who's putting them together, then we can feel good about it. Or maybe if our money goes to buy him a Happy Meal every day for lunch. I don't know what to tell you. The whole, I'm starting to sound ridiculous because I can go off like this, and I think the whole thing is ridiculous. As far as I'm concerned, I think we have a great community. Guys stick together. I don't think there's a rift. I think it's okay for people to have their own opinions, I think it's okay if somebody says, I prefer to support an American company. Hell, I think all of us would prefer to support an American company. I don't know if all of us want to be able or are able to pay those prices. And sometimes I think some of those companies do take advantage, just say, we're an American company. I don't know. This is my opinion. This is what I have to say. It's a long video. I like giving other companies a chance. I like testing things out. So you don't have to. And I know so does DK. He likes breaking things so you don't have to. If over time it holds up and it's a good product, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I'm sure people that are watching this, not everybody drives a Cadillac. And if you do drive a Ford, it's probably made in Mexico anyway. I know my Ford is made in Mexico. That's what the sticker said, or a good portion of it. So until we do things in-house and clean up in-house, and that's by getting new people in the Senate, new people in Congress, new people in office, new presidents, new vice presidents, until we do that, that's when the big changes come. And it's not going to be overnight. It's going to take years and years. So anyway, I, hope I didn't offend anybody. If I did, I'm not really offended by what you guys feel. I support you. That's being an American is being able to make freedom of choice decisions. I still will buy from Grimberg. I think they have some good products, and if they come out with a product that I feel meets my needs with a push button bottom or a pull trigger engagement, yeah, I'm going to buy one if I could afford it at the time. So anyway, stay safe. Educate yourself. That's what I say. Educate yourself. Don't be sheeple. Be people. Stay smart. And together we can all work together, not only as a community, even with the companies that are coming out there and doing stuff. They're going to learn from us too, because we're their biggest supporters and sponsors. And if we make suggestions, we tell them we want this, we want that, they're going to do it. And you know what? Their sales are going to soar, and we want them to be successful. I would love to be able to own one of every launcher out there. It'd be great. So anyway, guys, enjoy. Have a good night.